brothers will pick their spear or whatever they have got to run to wherever the threat is. So that's what White Army is. Most people think that White Army, okay, I have a visitor. Most people think White Army were formed in 1991. So that's what more people think, that's when it was formed. So wait a minute, I'm gonna have to open the door. So most people think that 1991 is when the White Army was formed. But they don't know White Army is predated. So Dejimbor, it means like these are untrained army. We call them Dejimbor. They are not trained, but they know how to fight. Now, long time ago, they would use spears and whatever. So 1991, what actually happened in 1991? In 1991, there was ideas, the battles between the ideas. Dr. John Garang wanted the entire Sudan. Dr. Riek Machar said, look, it's much better we have a separated country. And because during SPLA, nobody is allowed to challenge Dr. John Garang, because we had a communist way of living things. There's an order, there's a specific structure that everybody has to follow. So when you challenge the person on top, you get arrested. It's looked as disrespect and as a threat to the movement. So Dr. Machar, Lama Col and their group that wanted South Sudan, even Salva Kiir himself liked the idea of South Sudan, but he did not open his mouth, he closed his mouth. So they were asked to come where Dr. John is, where the discussion can continue. In that process, they knew when you've been asked to come where Dr. John Garang is, to expand your thoughts and your ideas, you're going to be arrested. Just like the way it happened to Karbino Kwanyan Bol. Karbino was arrested. So many other doctors that always challenged Dr. John Garang disappeared, or they get sent into the front line in the battlefield. So that's when Lama called Dr. Machar formed their own Nasser faction. And when that happened, they were not aggressive. So what did Dr. John do? His soldiers attacked the low area. The second area they attacked Pangak. And they lost terribly. And when they lost terribly, they were pushed back in. So because they lost terribly, they were in a lower, they were not winning. So a peace agreement was agreed. Okay, ceasefire. Guys, let's talk. So Dr. Machar and his team started to walk to a place called Panyagor. So in this place, Panyagor, it was supposed to be a peace agreement. It was supposed to be where the SPLA, the Dr. John Garang and Dr. Machar comes and meet and talk about the disagreement. And guess what happened? Instead, when they arrived for the peace agreement or the agreement for ceasefire to iron the differences, they were fired at. And they were fired at, and Dr. Machar almost got killed. Dr. Adwok died in the process. A bunch of people died. These are people who were going for peace. They were tricked for this peace. And when they're arriving, they were told, hey guy, now since these people have come, let's just kill them. And that's when they were fighters. And so when they survived, some of them died. But Dr. Riek Machar survived with some of his team. Emma McCune was part of that, which was Dr. Machar's wife, was part of that moment. And she almost died. Okay, what happened next? That was something really terrible. But before then, the 1991 became a serious issue. Why did 1991 become serious? There's a lot of people don't know. The White Army never involved themselves in the battle until when the SPLA soldiers and the civilians attacked the low area. So when they attacked the low area, they went and attacked civilians. And they looted, they raped, they burned homes, they took cows. And other civilians, I say, I thought it was you who are fighting each other. What does this have to do with us? Now that's when the White Army responded. The White Army did not just join Dr. Machar. The White Army were responding to how the SPLA left fighting React soldiers and came to burn the Nuer village. And that's when they responded, that's when they revenged. And revenge, 2,000 people from Bor got killed. Now, when you talk about that 2,000 people from Bor, now the story of the Bor people is what was picked and told, because they know how to cry better, they know how to tell the story. But 10,000 Nuer people got killed during that time. But nobody spoke about that. But I will not say it's the problem of the media or propaganda. This is the Nuer problem. Nuer, when you get hurt, you don't tell your problem. You just keep quiet. And why they keep quiet? They say, "Kam na kana jang tela malesh," which means like between us and Dinka, there's no sorry. Let me tell you guys, this idea that there's no sorry is what is destroying us. Because before the Nuer responds to any aggression, it first comes to them. They get attacked first and thousands of people died. Okay, it also happened, the response in Barkazal. Lair was attacked. In Lair area during that time, they went and burned villages, rooted crops, raped women, burned homes down. And the people in Lair say, why? I thought it is the government. So now the villagers got involved in the war and SPLA was kicked out. William Nyon and Sulfur were chased terribly on that side of Bentiu area, you know. Now, all of this, I would say, the Dinka or the Jiang themselves knows how to tell their story. Now the problem here, the Nuer people, you don't know how to tell your story. Because if you go behind, there are more killing. We talk about the Gajak massacre. Now the Gajak massacre in the 80s, like the killing that was done to Gajak, there's no any massacre that can be that is more than what have been done to Gajak. Seriously, if you were in SPLA and you hear the stories, and who was sent to Gajak to kill people? William Nyon Bany. William Nyon Bany, the time William Nyon Bany, how he used to do it, when they catch people, you know the sack for putting grains in Itang, they used to put people inside and tie it and then put you in water. And they will leave you there. When they pull you out, certain things happen. You either die, but if you don't die, by that time, you don't function. Your brain cells dies because of lack of oxygen. And then those people, some of them are just paralyzed. They can no longer move. And during that time, they'll take whole family in a luak and drop an RPG and blow it up or burn them out. What did the SPLA soldiers used to do to the Gajak people? When they all go to the Gajak area, if they find crops, you know, they'll take, let's say the grain, like for example, during the harvest season, they'll find a man in his house with his wife, they'll rape his wife and ask the owner of the house to come and fund them, you know? Then if they found your maize or your grains and you prepared them properly, they take as much as they can. And when they finish, they now poop on top of your grain and pee on it. And say the most barbaric, racist words or tribalic words, you know, during the SPLA. Now, the Nuer were the one that brought Dinka into the struggle, into Bilfam. That was not Dinka's land. Or SPLA was forming Nuer land. Now, if you look at it, John Garang was given opportunity. What did John Garang do? Use his power, use his connection during the SPLA time used other Nuer people. The Nuer people that were given ideology, that were brainwashed, were the one that killed Guy Tut under instruction of John Garang, which is also happening right now. When you look at the historical, right now, Dr. Machar is inside, and it's the Nuer people who started saying, let's arrest him. You know, it was not the plan. It was the Nuer people that gave the idea to the young people, let's arrest. These are the Nuer guys, or Nuer Wiao, or those ones who want better opportunity, who want to be looked after. Those are the ones who did it. So every day you talk about 1991, those are 2,000 people that are killed. But if you compare to thousands of the Nuer that were killed and during Gaja massacre, we have different massacres of different stages in different areas. You even had the Law massacre long time ago. So during SPLA, as SPLA was fighting Sudan, they were also doing ethnic cleansing. The killing of Nuer people did not just start in 2013. Look, you Nuer people need to understand this, Nueri. You need to understand the killing of Nuer started in the 80s. Not only in the 80s, even in the 50s, there's always been a way that our Dinka brothers know how to speak and put us in problems so we can fight with foreigners. And then they had behind the scene, because they have an agenda, so much hatred. It's in their DNA. It's part of them. You know, even though we move together, they may be saying, oh, we're together in this. But once they get the position of power, they use that to humiliate us. You know, so in this moment, sometimes they look at it, Nuera look as fools. But it's not because we're fools. It's because it's our way of life. If someone tell you your brother, if you eat with somebody in the same plate, you would not have ideas that you're going to play behind them and cause them hurt. That killing that has been happening systematically in the Nuer area, there is the Moyom massacre. You know, a lot of Bull don't like Dr. Machar. Why? Because during the SPLA time, the Bull were killed, and also most of the Bull had to move to the other side and had to even join Omar al-Bashir. Though, when you listen to Gadet, there was a specific there's a specific Kativa that was sent there to give a backup that called Guajnuer, which means fuck Nuer. So which means this, instead of them fighting Arabs, their agenda says they're going to take the cows, they're going to rape the women, they're going to take what is called tie-in. They do havoc. You know, they do havoc. But, you know, when you're in SPLA, I remember, because when I'm in the side of the SPLA, when the terrible things are happening to Nuer people, I don't feel bad, because I have been brainwashed completely. My loyalty was with SPLA. And any Nuer person that we have been given information that is bad, we felt no emotional connection. In Itang, when I visited Itang, I remember we used to visit them, you find a lot of Gajak collecting grain on the ground, and they were not allowed to be given food with the UN like others. They were looked upon down terribly. Then I would ask, but they speak Nuer like me. Oh, they are Gajak, they are Nyagat. What do you mean Gajak and Nyagat? They speak, I could not understand. But right now that I'm in Anam 46, I understand the terrible things. Most Nuer, yes, terrible things happen in many Nuer areas, but there's nothing that is bigger than what was done to the Gajak people. Up to today, because of that massacre that happened to Gajak areas. Because let me tell you one thing. There were nobody can say Gajak cannot fight. During SPLA, the most feared Nuer by SPLA was Gajak. Because I remember those stories. They would say 10 Gajak people can challenge a Katiba. Imagine 10 Gajak men will just get out, who are white army, who don't like what the Katiba's done in the area and like that. They would challenge and cause so much terror, and they would fight. 10 10 will channel like 10,000 men before the rest of the village come. And that's why William Nyon was literally brought to just dismantle Gajak. And William Nyon carried his best army from Gojam to wherever, the best Kativa. He had backup of the full support of SPLA. And he had the Nuer. Imagine, as the war was going, the full force of SPLA was in Gajak area, terrorizing, burning them, displacing them from one place. You know, and that time, because dividing, you know, the low area don't feel about what was going in Gaja. The Gajuk did not put, because, you know, when you're divided, oh, Tijinka Gajak or this or this, then that's when this terror happened. So I wanted to tell you, my brothers and sisters, there's a lot to do with our suffering. We don't tell our stories well. Right now, you touch one Jiang person, and that Jiang person is touched by Nuer, the whole world will know. Because they're able to tell their story. And none of us will deny their stories. Because if something happened, the good thing I like about Nuer people is, if someone said, this happened to me, you don't go and say, hey, it did not happen to you. That is that person's story. But the problem with a lot of loyal government Dinka people who say, if you tell them this what happened to us, they'll say, oh, you're tribal. How are you tribal when you're explaining your own stories? Like, for example, if I say 60 people from my family got killed by the government, and the person will look, how? That's not true. But that's my story. Just like, for example, if a friend of mine tell, oh, I'm a survivor of 1991, I would want to listen to their story, because you don't want to deny them their story for what happened. It is their story. Because when they tell their story and you listen to their story and not deny it, and then you tell your story and they listen to your story and there's no denial, then there's a human compromise of what happened. But the biggest challenge that we face in this storytelling or forgetting history is, once a Nuer has forgiven, he has forgiven. But what a Dinka has forgiven, he has not. They still remember what happened, and they go and whine and whine and whine and whine over it, you know. So, you see, 1991, as Rebecca Nyandeng has been talking, one time she went and spoke to Museveni. Museveni, we cannot use 1991 stories to go and use all the military power to fight one tribe. This is not acceptable. Now, you need to understand what happened. 2013, we never told our story probably in 2013. What was actually happening in 2013? 2013 was the disarmament of Nuer in Juba. So an order was issued that the Nuer should be disarmed. And then they said, why are you disarming us? Oh, because the government was scared of armed Nuer. And because when it didn't work